This is music, and this is Maid of Steel, episode 5. Welcome to the 5th episode of Maid of Steel, a series of videos where I just go through my collection of Band-Maid releases, physical and digital, and just talk about them. So these are still not reaction videos. Today we're going to have a look at the second full-length album in my head canon, the 5th album by Band-Maid, World Domination. But first, the recommendation of the day. Today I'm going to recommend this one here, mini album by Sin Isomer, I think is the way you pronounce her name. It's called Into ISOMER. Sin Isomer is a heavy metal vocalist, and this is power metal, so kind of like in the vein of Love Bites. Now power metal has a tendency to be kind of cheesy. That's just part of the genre. I have to be honest, sometimes power metal gets too cheesy for my taste. Now, Sin Isomer and her band have mastered the taming of the cheese. So this is not a cholesterol bomb. This is a nice, crusty, meaty, tomato saucy pizza with just the right amount of cheese sprinkled on top. Great power metal, great musicianship, great songwriting, catchy songs, with a nice dose of just old school heavy metal. And Sin Isomer is a fantastic singer. She has a powerful voice. She can hit some crazy notes. In the first song, Quiet Sky, she hits some insane notes. It sounds almost like they've used some sort of effect on her voice, but I actually don't think they did. So great stuff. If you like power metal, if you like Love Bites, I think you would like this. If you like European power metal, I think you will like this one too. But be warned, this is not as cheesy as European power metal typically is. So let's get to Band-Maid. We're going to have a look at this one here, as I said, World Domination. Their 5th studio album, their 2nd full-length album. If we just do some collector's nerdery first, it comes with this, I don't even think this counts as a booklet, this very thin insert. This is my favorite cover artwork for some reason by Band-Maid. I would love to have this on a t-shirt. On the back you have a mouth with an ice cube in it. I don't know if it's one of the band members' mouths. I have no idea. And on the inside you have a band photo. So that is very cool. The version I have is the JPU Records version, released in Europe. It comes with this crazy epic lyric sheet, which is kind of like a poster. Here you have the lyrics in Japanese. I can imagine that that's also part of the Japanese release. I don't know if this part is, but you have the lyrics in English and also transliterated into Romanji. The disc looks like this here, pretty cool, and the back looks great. I love these skull versions of the band members, and you have a track list as well. So pretty cool stuff. So what does the music sound like? Well, if we compare it to the one we looked at last time, Just Bring It was had more of a twangy guitar tone. They had brought back pop punk elements and emo elements, and Kanami had arrived, right? She was really shining on this album. Fortunately, she shines in this one too. So this one is not super heavy, but it's still quite heavy, but because the guitar tone is a bit twangy, it's not super heavy, but it's a great hard rock album, in my opinion anyways. Now, this one here, this one is heavy. In my opinion, this is the heaviest Band-Maid release up until and including, of course, this one. And this is partially because the guitar tone is quite heavy on this one. They also draw quite a bit on metal elements in addition to the hard rock elements. So a great I would say this is a metal album, to be honest, or maybe somewhere between metal and hard rock. Let's go through the songs one by one. It starts out with a song called I Can't Live Without You. And I know the title sounds like a cheesy ballad. It's not. It's a groovy, hard-rocking song. I would say it's a metal song, actually. The main riff is heavy, it's groovy, and in the verse you have some, I would say, metal riffage going on. True to a tradition, I would say. The chorus is a nice melodic chorus. The bridge is quite heavy, and there's just an awesome little guitar solo in it. As I said, I think this is a metal song, actually. Certainly it's a great hard rock song, and Saiki sounds awesome. She sounds great on this album. She had taken a bit of a backseat on the previous album, but here she's back in form. It's followed by a song called Play. That's another heavy rocker, and I would say it's a bit heavier, actually, than I Can't Live Without You. It has a bit of a prominent bass going on, which is nice. And there's this kind of like fun, yeah, nah, nah, nah sort of thing going on vocally that's very catchy, very memorable. The drumming is groovy and dynamic, and the entire song is groovy. So Play, another great hard rocking song. It's followed by a bit more of a melodic song called The One and Only. Yeah, it's melodic, and the verse is kind of chill, but there are some elements in the verse that sound almost like metalcore. Like metalcore light, maybe. And that's actually pretty nice. A pretty nice sort of way of shaking things up a bit. And there's also a almost kind of like humorous, weird bridge that's kind of like plinky plunky, kind of almost like circus music like, and it's kind of fun. I kind of appreciate that. That's One and Only, another great hard rocking song, I would say. It's followed by Domination, and they made a music video for that. Now, Domination has a cool opening, and it sort of builds around a very, very, I would say, original, innovative kind of sounding riff. And I think Konami had her hand in writing that riff, I think. It has an awesome sort of like pre-chorus, chorus combo, but again, choruses, that's really one of Band-Maid's really strong suits there. And then they make use of some really cool kind of like almost like blues rock meets funk kind of guitar solos in this song. Just sort of a great sort of a lead guitar work there. Overall, this song, and I think this applies to the entire album, has a great sort of dynamic just in the way it's composed. You have ups, downs, intensity, chills, and just this shows how good songwriters they have become, I think. There's a really, really heavy bridge, and yes, they insert some thrash metal into Domination as well. And I'm a thrash metal fan, so I obviously appreciate that. I would say this is a metal song too, or at least a quite heavy hard rock song. It's followed by another groovy and heavy song called Fate. Fate has a really cool breakdown, and it has just a rocking guitar solo. And I don't know, those of you who've heard this song, if you agree with me, it seems like there's a bit of a Hole in the Sky vibe, like the Sabbath song, or maybe Sacred Right wrote a song called Crawling, which is kind of like also has a Hole in the Sky vibe to it. So it kind of has this kind of like maybe 70s rock kind of vibe to it. I don't know if you agree, but I just get that Crawling / Hole in the Sky groove, I guess, to Fate. A great song. It's followed by more of a emo pop punk song called Spirit. That is actually a very good song, I think. It has some kind of like slapping bass going on, and that's always nice. Misa is a very good bass player. Actually, she's a great bass player. Her character is sort of more like she sits around in the background and drinks whiskey all the time. But she's a great bass player for sure. And I really appreciate how prominent the bass work is on this album, actually. Anyways, nice slapping bass every now and then. Again, a nice chorus. There's a more melancholic feel to this song, so kind of like maybe looking back to Just Bring It a tiny bit. The bridge is super groovy though, and there's another thrashy section in the song, like in the solo section. I'm a thrash metal fan, so I really like that. And I like how they went from emo, pop punk to thrash metal in the same song. The third verse is kind of mellow compared to the other verses. But yeah, overall a great song. And there's a really, really, really awesome sort of like a closing guitar solo in this song. So Spirit, exclamation mark. It's part of the song. It's followed by a song called Rockin' Me, and I'm not sure, but I think maybe this is a Miku song. I don't know. The hardcore Band-Maid fans out there will know. It's more like a fun, upbeat kind of rock song. In a way, there's a kind of like a kawaii feel to it, but I don't know if that's just the quality of her voice. If it is Miku singing, I'm not even sure. But there's a kind of like a kawaii quality to the voice of whoever sings this song. One thing I really like is that there's some guitar work in the rhythm guitar that reminds me of Running Wild, a German pirate sort of power speed metal band. One of my favorite bands, actually, to be honest, along with Band-Maid. It's in the pre-chorus. Check it out, listen for yourself, and see if you agree or disagree. There's a really nice chorus here too. So Rockin' Me is just a fun, I think, hard rocking song, upbeat. So that's great. It's followed by an up-tempo hard rocker called Clang. Has an awesome main riff, in my opinion. The verse is kind of funky, I think, and there's some awesome sort of song dynamics in the way the song is composed, and some great guitar work throughout. And I don't know if you guys agree with me, but in the drumming, I get a Motorhead vibe. Like again, the Overkill song. There's just some steady double bass drum going on. I haven't really gushed about Akane yet. I will do that now. She is, I think, to me, Akane is the key to why I really like Band-Maid, because her drumming is what makes it metallic. And from Just Bring It and this one and on, I think Kanami also. So it's the Kanami Akane duo. I think that's really. But anyways, that's just me going off on a tangent there. So Clang, great song, great double bass drumming, maybe inspired by Motorhead. Who knows? It's followed by a song called Turn Me On, and it opens up and out, just a metal song. The chorus is kind of groovy, and there's some more thrashy parts in this song. So again, they suckered me in completely as a thrash metal fan. And you got some cool bass work going on, and a cool guitar solo. So Turn Me On, another great metal song in my opinion. Followed by a song called Carry On Living, and yeah, thank you very much. I would like to carry on living. It's an uplifting hard rocker. It's a bit up tempo. It has your Japanese rock chorus, so it has the bass drum, snare drum, bass drum, hi-hat in between. I've heard this in so many Japanese rock songs, so I think it's fair to say that this is a feature of Japanese rock music. And just a nice chorus, catchy vocal melodies and all that stuff. And it has some nice, just melodic lead guitars going on. So Carry On Living, another nice song, upbeat, up-tempo. It's followed by a ballad called Daydreaming. Now, I don't really like ballads normally. I'm of the generation who's been traumatized by the early 90s, late 80s glam metal power ballad. So I'm very skeptical towards ballads. Daydreaming is, I think, a nice, tasty ballad. I quite like it, to be honest. I think the highlight of this ballad is pretty good guitar solo, and this is the true highlight, Saiki does a great vocal performance. If it is her singing, I think it is her singing. She sounds really vulnerable, very emotional performance, which is great. So Daydreaming, a nice, tasty ballad, to be honest. It's followed by another ballad called Anemone. It has some nice dynamic drumming and some good guitar work. I probably like Daydreaming a bit more than Anemone, but Anemone is okay too. It's followed by, by the way, Daydreaming, they made a music video for that, I think. Alive or Dead is another just groovy hard rocker. It has some emo elements to it as well, I think. The verse is just a nice, heavy, groovy affair. The chorus, as usual, is a melodic, just catchy, nice chorus. You have a quite metallic pre-chorus, I would say. And the bridge is just, I gotta drop an F-bomb here, it's just a fucking all-out metal bridge. Alive or Dead, I would say, again, kind of like, if it's not an all-out metal song, it strides sort of the boundary between heavy hard rock and heavy metal, I think. It's followed by a song called Dice. They made a music video for that, and I think Dice is another, just like Thrill was, I think Dice is another song that just suckered, not suckered, that's actually kind of unfair to say that, reeled a lot of people in. So it's an awesome hard rocking song, and it has a bit, I don't know, again, if you agree or disagree with me, let me know. It has a bit of a You Could Be Mine vibe going on, the Guns N' Roses track. I think it's in the drumming, probably. But a great song. It has some nice prominent bass work. Again, nice sort of songwriting dynamics. And the awesome is just the awesome. The chorus is just awesome. The melody in it. And there's some cool riffage throughout the song, and some, you know, really nice lead guitar. And the last track is called Honey. That's a cover track by Muku, I think they're called. It opens out, I have to be honest, it opens up with some almost like house, pop, bubblegum house pop stuff, techno opening, and I gotta be honest, I went, uh-oh, but it's fine. It's actually a quite fun, hard rocking cover song, and it seems like it's just the band having lots of fun. So yeah, that was a breakdown of all the songs on this album. I think all the songs are good. Daydreaming, Anemone appealed to me the least, and that's simply a problem with me, I think, because again, I've been traumatized by the late 80s, early 90s glam metal power ballad, but they're not bad. They are, you know, tasty ballads in my opinion. But all the songs in this album are great. So this is another album that I love by Band-Maid. A very heavy album, I would say. As I said, the guitar tone is very heavy. The groove is back in force. Not that much pop punk and emo, but it's still there. Konami, great job on the lead guitar, great job on songwriting. The bass work, prominent, very cool. Really like the bass work on this one. The drumming is just awesome as usual. I mean, there's not much to say there. Just Hail Akane, I guess she's awesome. The lead guitar, great, as I said. Saiki sounds absolutely fantastic on this album. She's back. She sounds great, I think. Really powerful. There's still the coolness to her voice. That's kind of like I think a trait of her voice, a trademark. But she's great. She's one of the highlights for sure as well on this album. For my money, a lot of people will probably disagree, but for my money, this is if not an all-out metal album, it's a borderline metal album. I really love this album. It's great. So that was my take on World Domination. Next time we're going to turn to something completely different. We're going to have a look at Conqueror. Their maybe most controversial album, because, you know, if this one has like a minority of ballads on it, this one has I think a majority of ballads on it. So that's, will I hate it? Will I love it? I already know how I feel about this album, but let's see. So in any case, that was World Domination. A fine, great, fantastic metal, in my opinion, album by Band-Maid. Thanks for watching.